Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to start a new series that is called the Short Pro Games. So in this series, I mostly cover professional games that have been played that are very short. So why are they short? Well, mostly because one side has played super well and the other side has misplayed. That the game was not able to continue after very few moves. So and these games all played by professionals, so they're very interesting games to learn from. And the other reason I guess is that mostly I don't want to review full games because they're quite long, and I think most my viewers would prefer to watch like shorter games. So yeah, those are the reasons I'm starting a new channel on short pro games. And I hope you like this series. So let's get started. So today the game we will be looking at is between Cho ChiKun and Hiroaki Tono. I just want to here it says 3P, but it's really 9P. So both players are 9P. And this game was played a long time ago. This game was played in 1993. And first of all, Cho ChiKun is a very famous player back then. He was probably one of the best players in Japan. And his style is very territorial and very aggressive. He's very good at fighting. He's definitely been champions for many tournaments as well. Hiroaki Tono, I personally don't know him very well because now he's 80 years old. I just checked on Wiki. He's 80 years old. So the time when he was playing Go, I was not even born. So I don't know about his style, but he's a 9P, so he is definitely very strong as well. So let's get started. Cho ChiKun is playing as black in this game, and Hiroaki Tono as white. So the game starts with double star points. Cho approaches, and white decides to pincer. So back in the days in 1993, pincerings are like very popular. It's not the case anymore, right? Nobody does pincers, barely. I mean, there's still people do that, but it's a lot less than before. So Cho double approaches, and they decided to play out a very old Joseki back then. I don't even know if this Joseki exists nowadays with the help of AI, but that's what they played out. Cho pushes, that's the correct move, and Hiroaki Tono kicks at c5. There are obviously other variations, but Cho decided to play the kick mostly because he knows that Cho is a very territorial player, so he wants to counter that style by by holding his territory. Not a bad idea. Cho decides to hane at f6. So Cho is territorial, but also I mentioned he's very aggressive player. He loves fighting, and he is very good at it. His reading skills are very like the top. So here, maybe a more reasonable move is to play g6, is to be patient, letting white getting d6 move, and then pincer at L3. So white gained a lot of profits here, that's true, but white has to deal with the J4. So this is an equal game moving on. If white decides to settle his right side, black can now extend looking at this cutting point. If you exchange this one, black will happily accept it, and the corner is going to be quite small. And also, at some point, if black turns here, there's a lot of influence towards the top side. So that would be a more reasonable and maybe more correct way to play in the eyes of AI. But that's just not Cho's style. Cho likes to push his opponent and exercise max pressure. And now Tono defends with the tiger's mouth. That's a very good move. For some of my viewers, you really don't want to play moves like e6 because that just makes black's e7 very, very strong. Now white's shape is very, very bad, and there's pretty much no way to like actually. Well, you can break out this way, but there's a lot of problems. First of all, there's an Atari here. This could happen, right? This is a double Atari, and yeah, that's a very bad situation for white. So you really don't want to hunt it at e6. That's just a very bad shape. Instead, what was played was correct by Tono. It's to hunt it at a d6. Here, I think once again, Cho should probably just go back and start pincering the stone. But that's once again not Cho's style. Cho likes to put max pressure onto his opponent. He never relents, he never relaxes, and he just goes for the max. That's his style. And Tono decides to cut. Here, an alternative, probably better solution is to Atari at c7. Here, black will follow up probably with e6. Notice that black cannot extend at b6 right now. If you extend at b6, white can extend at c8. Even if you have a very nice Atari, there's no good continuation for black locally. Black has 2 cutting points. Black's 2 stones are dead. White has tremendous amount of territory, and this is a losing game for black. So black cannot extend down. So what black can do is to keep going with this Atari, forcing white to pretty much just capture. When black captured these 2 stones, white can go ahead and start playing somewhere else. And later on, white can potentially look at the flip Atari at d8, and this is going to be a huge move. So at this point, white should be leading, mostly just because how black has overplayed, because of his aggressive style. In the actual game, Tono decided to cut. So at this point, instead of playing what I said, that's to Atari at c7, white decides to cut. So this is a very, very fierce fight for both sides. Cho decides to Atari, and make a tiger's mouth. This is preventing the h5 cut. That's very, very urgent cut, so you have to fix it right now. Tono follows up with the Atari at c7. Black Ataris. Here, notice that white cannot double Atari or Atari on top. Looks like you can capture the 2 stones, but when black captured the j4 stone with k4, it is not very clear what white is going to do with about this flower. Atari will be facing this kind of ko, and if you pincer, black has very very nice shape that he can easily make himself alive. So then what's going to compensate for white's loss here? It's not so clear. White captured 2 stones, but white also has a very small corner. So that's not acceptable for white. So what white has to do is to absolutely capture the stone and making sure his corner is a decent size. Black plays double tiger's mouth. And now here is a point where white can have some choices. A good choice is probably to play b8. This is a very solid choice. When black tries to kill your 2 stones, white can flip Atari. And now we can see that white has a lot of territory as well as some aji with these 2 stones. So this is a very good variation for white. Moving on. So at the point where the tiger's mouth is played, I would have played b8 in this situation. I wouldn't drag out my 2 stones immediately, but Tono decided to actually drag out and fight. Cho decides to now not allow white to play b8 anymore. This is a good move that puts pressure onto white's corner. White decides to attack, and Cho decides to take the stone. White further encloses everything. that black has. So black now really has no choice. He cannot really just play whatever. Like if he plays another move, locally white will connect at b5, and then it's not so clear how black is gonna live. Maybe black has a way to live, but I mean this is just a very miserable way for black to live. Or this is not even completely alive, right? So as we can see, there's a ko going on. So maybe black has to live in a smarter way or something, but it's just already very difficult. So black cannot really play anything elsewhere. Black has to start a ko immediately. That's the correct move. White takes, and then black pushes. White plays. White cannot give up this. So if white connects, black will capture. And black's just way too thick here. Well, black does not even have to spend another move at k4 because of how thick he is. So white cannot accept that. So white will absolutely have to defend that ko-threat. Black takes back, and then white cuts at g2. At g3, and now instead of defending passively, that's definitely not Cho's style. If you defend like this, white will keep fighting the ko, and it's very hard for black to actually win this ko, because next white's gonna play g2, and that's another ko threat, and then you are just facing a lot of ko threats, and then you won't be able to win it. So look at what Cho played. Cho decides to play very aggressively at d2. That is further squeezing white's liberty. Because realize that white only has 2 liberties left right now. Because as we can see, if you don't play anything, I will immediately capture everything, right? You won't have time to do anything, but you will be captured. So here, Tono realized that, and he frees 1 liberty by taking a ko. Cho follows up with c3. It's very, very aggressive. It's really trying to kill everything in here. And Tono plays b4. So this is actually the correct move. But the problem here is very interesting, is that Tono could not really understand why b4 is a correct move without the help of AI. So maybe my suggestion for Tono at this point is to actually cut at c2. This would cause more complications. So black, just briefly, black will follow up with this push. White has no time to connect. If you connect, I will capture everything. White's gonna die here. So white will follow up with this. Likely the game will settle with things like this. But before that, sorry, actually you can't cut right now. So before that, white will exchange this and then cut. So basically we'll reach something like this. This would be an equal game moving on. So white is secured his group. He's lost a little bit here, but that's okay. Black is completely alive, and white got something outside. So that's a very interesting equal game moving on. However, that's actually not the best move. So the best move here is what Tono has played. Except Tono didn't really understand why that was the best move. So the game gets really interesting here. Cho decides to push. White can absolutely not give up these 2, because if you give up these 2, this g3 has no value. This j4 is completely dead. So white will connect, and Cho decides to Atari. Tono takes, and then Cho takes at c6. And now at this point, Tono decided to resign. That's where the game ends, and this is our short game. But what is very, very amazing about this game is that at this point, when I was checking with AI, I was completely shocked. Because the win rate that white has is actually close to 90% at this exact point. I mean, this is just fascinating. I mean, Tono resigned when he has 90% win rate. So I think a question you would ask right now is like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is white resigning? Why can't white just connect? right? So actually, you're right. So white should actually connect. So I just want to explain you why Tono resigned here, and then tell you why he should not have resigned, because his win rate is actually at 90%. Very interesting stuff. So black has 2 cutting points. Black will fix at c2, so that fixes everything. And white will make an exchange here, forcing black to connect everything. And white will extend at k4. So this is actually a sente, right? If black decides to play anything like this, already we see that black is all enclosed inside. So this is not going to be pleasant. So black cannot get out. Well, pretty much black has no good way to get out, because it looks like you got out, but when I Atari here, you really cannot connect because I can capture everything. So black has to play here. That's basically a forcing move, this k4. So after these forcing moves, white can start fighting this group. So by using this group's liberty, white takes, black will connect here to avoid playing a ko, and white will play this one. So this is forcing black to connect, and white will keep going with this one. So let's just look at what's going on in terms of liberty fight. Black starts filling the liberty, and white Ataris. Black connects. White keeps going. Black keeps going. White keeps going. Black keeps going. And white keeps going. And then it's black's turn to take. So at this point, black can play somewhere else. When white plays this one, black can take, and this is still a ko. So basically, the conclusion is that at this point, black has an extra liberty, right? So white has to play one more move for this to become, a tight ko, life and death ko, basically. This is why Tono resigned, because he thinks this extra liberty is what's the problem. Because that pretty much means white is dead here, or this ko is so, not white is dead, but black is in favor. How can I put it? So this is such a favorable ko for black, that this giant group is about to die. So he decided that this is such a difficult game that he does not want to continue. So this is basically what is going on in Tono's mind. But let's really analyze what is going on here. So let's just assume the game plays out like that, actually. So we can see at this point, white does not have to go ahead and start fighting here. So what white can do is to play out moves like this. So I'm not even suggesting the very crazy AI move. So this is probably the best move that AI recommends, is to play L8. But even if we just play reasonable, like this is already, these turns are already making black uncomfortable. So if you play this one, I have these throw in, and then you still have this tight liberty, and then I can start playing somewhere else. So first of all, let's look at the situation. White has a lot of territory already over here. That serves as a good compensation for what white for this unfavorable ko. But also look at white's outside. This whole wall is putting so much pressure or so much influence towards the top side that at some point this might just become a giant territory. But on top of that, what's even worse for black is that this is not settled yet. White still has a ko. Even if it's a favorable ko for black, it's a ko. It's not a clean kill. So let's just assume black just clean killed this. Black will gain, which we can just count the stones pretty much. So 10, and then 20, 22, 24, and then 26. So pretty much 26 points in here, which is not such a big deal because white almost made about like 8 18 points here, and then plus the potential that white can build here. So AI thinks this is a completely winning game because of the compensation that white has on the outside as well as over here. So this is really fascinating. I mean, with the help of AI, we just realize how, I mean, it's when I was looking at this game, I was really shocked. I mean, even if these players are 9P, their understanding could be still so limited, or not, in the eyes of AI, even 9Ps are just, their understanding of Go is just so narrow, and then it's just it's shocking for me that that a 9P resigns when he has 90% win rate. Like, honestly, guys, I don't know what to say. Like, what I just said is like garbage English, but man, I was very shocked when I was like checking with Lizzie, and yeah, resigned at 90%. And yeah, and that's I guess that's what's really interesting about humans, right? Like, we make, not only we make tactical mistakes, but also we make such huge mistakes in terms of judgment and everything. So, fascinating game to start my series, and I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.